Hello, I wanted to do a brief demonstration of this thing that I made. So it is a real-time translator for Neos VR. Um, Anything that I say, it's translating and writing the text in here. You can see the white text is the transcription or the voice recognition text in English, and then red is currently translated into German. And if I want a different language, all I have to do is come over here and say, oh, maybe Japanese instead. So now it'll translate everything that I say into Japanese. And this is just a demonstration. It's not a very practical thing to use. But it could be very useful if anyone felt like developing it further. So what this is doing is I'm running a C# program on my local computer that's listening to the microphone in my headset, and it's using the Microsoft Azure cloud services to do first the voice recognition to convert it to text, and then also a translation to translate it into another language. And that, unfortunately, is not a free service. I actually already used up my 5 hours of free voice translation that you can get in each month, and now I'm having to pay $2.50 for each additional hour of voice translation. But it is a handy thing, even if it's not free, and you do have to run the C# program on your own computer so it can hook into the microphone and get the audio to convert. So wherever you're watching this video, I will post a link to the source code for this. There's actually very little that I did. It's mostly just sticking a couple of Microsoft example programs together, and really the Azure cloud service handles everything. There isn't much of anything to actually program for something like this. And then it makes the text available over a simple web server to Neos, and Neos just reads the lines of text with the get node in Logix. Nothing complicated. I will make this world with this thing in it public also, so anyone who wants to can grab a copy of it. I should mention that although the Azure service that I'm using right now you have to pay for, there is built into the .NET Standard Library a voice recognition module. So it should be possible to recognize spoken text and recognize spoken language and convert to text locally without paying anything and have it displayed in Neos, which would be handy if you're talking to like deaf people or anyone else who can't hear what you're saying. The recognition quality would likely not be as good as the Azure service that has all its fancy AI-based algorithms. If you did use the local speech recognition, you could also hook into the Azure text translation service rather than the voice translation service, which is a much lower rate, so it would be cheaper to run. So, like I said, I'll link the source code for the C# program that's doing this stuff and acting as a little web server. And when you come into this world in Neos, the only thing you have to set up is you have to tell this what user is supposed to run the Logix that's talking to the web server. And that's because if you go into someone else's world, it won't run if it's like running as, the host in the other world. It has to be running as your local user so it can talk to the program on your local computer. So let me show you in the inspector here. All you have to do is find the chat translator. Oops, sorry, hand lost tracking there for a second. So you find the chat translator, go to settings, go to run as user, and then select that, and over in the value field here you put your username in right there, and that controls what user it runs as. So this was, like I said, I didn't do much. This is just a quick demonstration, and it wasn't difficult, but I think it has the potential to be a very useful thing. It certainly, even though it's not perfect, it certainly enables a level of communication with other people that don't speak your language that was not nearly as easy to achieve without something like this. And it's really amazing how well the Azure translation service works. Those algorithms using machine learning have gotten pretty impressive with translations. I did look at some other services like the Amazon and the Google translation services, and I don't believe that any of them are free, even for just text translation. So you do end up having to pay to play for this level of translation and stuff. But it may well be worth it in some cases, especially if you can use the text translation that's a lot cheaper. But I haven't tried it yet. I don't think that the speech recognition will be quite as good if you're running it all locally instead of using the Azure service. Anyway, that's all. Just a quick demonstration.